It's day 22 of Vlogust. The sun is moving into Virgo, so things are looking up, people, because that's my sign. I'm on my way to the gym, and I don't know what I'm going to do for food today, so we'll have to wait and see. Well, it's post-workout time now, and because it's a new week, I added 5 minutes to my treadmill routine, which makes 45 minutes on the treadmill, and it gets a little boring, I'll admit. But there was a woman next to me who was a little older than me, and she was doing a full hour, and she was walking faster than me, so I just told myself to suck it up, and I did my 45 minutes. And now I'm having my post-workout ice latte. Time for lunch. So I'm sitting here just reading from this book that I recommended to you before, The Mediterranean Table, because there's a whole introduction here that explains the benefits of the Mediterranean diet, and I just want to read to you several little parts of it. So it says, unlike many weight loss and diet plans that rely on deprivation and an exhaustive list of restrictions, the Mediterranean diet is all about celebrating fresh, wholesome ingredients and taking time to appreciate each bite. I think it's very important to realize that this isn't really, I keep saying this, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. So you're not starving yourself for a set amount of time and then, going off of a diet. You're reteaching yourself how to eat fresh foods, make good choices with foods, and just making it a part of your lifestyle, because it's really enjoyable and you don't have to go hungry. You don't have to put yourself on some kind of starvation diet in order to lose weight. It's not a fast diet, but I think you will see an overall improvement in your health and well-being, and you will slowly see the pounds dropping off. I mean, I've been doing this now for 3 weeks, and really concentrating on it for 3 weeks. And you may not notice by looking at me because, it's something that I would notice myself, but I've lost about 6 pounds already. And I'm not starving myself, I'm not going hungry, I'm just making good food choices, and I am going to the gym. So I'm going to read you some of the other things about the Mediterranean diet, because there's a section in here that says lifestyle is key. Oops, sorry for the bubbling. It says diet is certainly a big part of what makes the Mediterranean region so healthy, but it's also their overall lifestyle. And it says people enjoy relaxed meals with their family, often accompanied by red wine. So they drink red wine. People think that people in Italy and in the Mediterranean just drink wine all the time. They drink very small quantities of wine. But the important part of that sentence is that they take time with their meals and they enjoy them with their family or with their friends. And they make it a social activity. They don't just sit down and rush because they have to get somewhere. Or sit and eat really fast at their desk because they're at work and they have to get back to work, or standing at a countertop in the morning trying to shove breakfast in your mouth because you have to leave and go sit in traffic. They just try to take time, and they also spend a lot of time outdoors. So when they do their shopping, they will do a lot of it on foot if they can. They'll walk to the local store instead of sitting in traffic trying to get to a big store. And I know wherever we live that's not always possible. But they also buy fresh local produce from just people in the area, their neighbors, and they stop and they chat along the way with their neighbors and their friends, and they take time to just enjoy the day. They're not rushing around all the time, and people do work there. They take a lunch break, and a lot of times people will go home for lunch and spend it with their family, and then they'll go back to work. And we've gotten so used to our rushed society where we work, and we commute someplace to work, so we can't go home. Or like when I lived in California, I used to take an hour ride to get to my job, and so I certainly wasn't going to go home for lunch, and so I would just eat at my desk. But then, after a while, I just became like this schlub that was at my desk all the time, and then didn't have time to exercise, didn't have a lot of time to spend with my friends and with my family, and that wears on you after a while. And so it's not just about the diet and the food, it's also about the lifestyle and taking time to prepare it and embracing the art of cooking. because it's the only way you really know what is in your food. And I've really come to enjoy sitting and chopping vegetables and just, sharing a little glass of wine with someone and, just chatting while we're sitting and preparing dinner. You don't have to do it all by yourself. It's just a pleasant, nice way to live. And the effects, I'm going to go back to this other page and read you. Sorry, bubbling. There was a famous study that was done in the 1950s. It's called the 7 Country Studies. And it studied the food and lifestyles of people in Greece, Italy, Yugoslavia, Finland, the Netherlands, Japan, and the United States. And that is when people first started noticing the Mediterranean diet, because the people who lived along the Mediterranean were some of the healthiest in the world and had the longest lives in the world, and they stayed healthy longer than most people in the world. And it's because it's largely a plant-based diet with low in saturated fat, high in fiber, and omega-3 fatty acids. And it can help to lower cholesterol, reduce risk of coronary heart disease, and improve longevity. And it also, more studies after the 50s were, they continued their studies, and they also found that it reduced the risks of obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, metabolic syndrome, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, depression, and arthritis. And I just read an article the other day that said they're even starting to realize that the Mediterranean diet can help people with asthma and with allergies. So it's really the way we're supposed to live. We're so used to the convenience of our food in America, and a lot of processed foods, and a lot of the diet kind of foods that are out there, they're so highly processed that they're not at all good for you. You're so much better off just eating vegetables and making a salad or something, and instead of trying to eat some protein bar, you're better off eating your protein in another way, in a natural, healthy way. The quinoa that I made the other day was full of protein and was delicious. I'd rather eat that. I mean, I know we can't always be at home cooking, but you can prepare some of this stuff in advance and it holds up, and you can take it with you. Take a little quinoa salad with you to lunch if you go to an office every day, instead of just, trying to eat a granola bar at your desk or something like that. So I hope this information you find helpful, and because I'm really enjoying it, and I have not gone hungry. And when I am hungry, I just eat something, I just make sure I eat something healthy. Like the other night, it got to be around 10 o'clock or something, and I thought, I really could use something, and I just ate a little piece of cheese, and it was, good for me. It wasn't a candy bar or, or a bagel or something like that. It was just a little piece of cheese, and it was really all I needed. I had a couple of grapes and a piece of cheese. So it's easier than you think, and I really hope you try it. I hope that you try it. In this bowl, I cut up about 1.5 tomatoes. I have some red onions, some garlic, salt, pepper, oregano, and some extra virgin olive oil. It's basically the same tomato mixture I made yesterday, except today I'm going to mix it in with this couscous. I'm going to let this cool for a little bit before I mix it together, and hopefully it will make a nice Mediterranean couscous salad. So I spread on some tomato sauce, some little dollops of ricotta cheese, some sliced cremini mushrooms, a shuck on a little oregano, and it's ready for the oven. So as you saw, we made homemade pizza for dinner. And the basil that I put on top, I grew myself. If any of you were participating in my La Dolce Vita Spring Training program, which I ran earlier in May, the first exercise was to plant something that you can harvest in the summertime, and I planted a basil plant and I used it tonight on my pizza, so that was a lot of fun. Look at the gorgeous sky behind me, can you see that? It's such a nice night, the humidity dropped and it's just really nice right now. So I am going to enjoy the rest of my evening and I hope you do too. See you tomorrow.